Hi, I'm here today with Julia Hall of the beautiful and amazing Babymoon Inn. It's a natural childbirth center right here in Phoenix. Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for coming.
Now, I know a lot of people are very interested in natural childbirth. Some people will think that's best to do in a hospital. Some people would love to be at home with a midwife, or they can come here. What are the benefits when a mother or family come here for their birthing process?
You know, we're kind of a middle ground. We offer some things that the hospital offers, and we offer some things that a home birth scenario offers as well. We're a piece of the integrated medical community, like the hospital. We have all the supplies and equipment here, so you don't have to get your house ready or rent a birth tub or do anything like that. But at the same time, we have a home-like environment that's not clinical and cold, like some people could see as a hospital.
Well, and we're sitting in part of the birthing center right now. This is a living room with comfortable chairs and television, and the rooms where the birthing takes place, they're beautiful, they're calm, they're serene, and they have the option of a water birth. Now, I know you have a lot of water births here. What are the benefits of a water birth?
We do. Both of our birth rooms have beautiful tubs, and there are several benefits to a water birth. One of the main benefits is the mom is so comfortable in the water. A lot of times they just don't want to get out to have their babies. But another benefit to the baby is then introduced to the world in an environment that's very similar to where they've been living the past 9 months.
I know another thing that you don't typically break women's water here at the birthing center. Now, I have children, I have a lot of friends with children. Some, their water broke naturally. Most have the doctor come at them with that scary looking crochet hook and broke their water. I understand it might speed up the process, but is it kind of better to let the body decide if the baby is going to be born in the sac?
Absolutely, and that really follows our philosophy of care here at Babymoon Inn, where we don't use an intervention unless there's an indication for it. So we don't break a mom's water unless there would be a medical reason to do so.
Well, I know when I had my children, and I'm not going to say how long ago that was, that at the hospital they kept me there upwards of 3 days to watch mom and the baby and make sure everything's okay. How long does a mother or family stay here after the birth of their child?
It's a little different here. Typically, a family will stay about 4 to 6 hours postpartum, but after that, after an unmedicated birth, mom and baby have that alert period of adrenaline, and then about 6 hours, they're both ready to tuck into bed and have a nice long sleep. So we send them home.
Coming up really quickly, we're going to talk to Amy Clark, and she sits in on most of the births, and we'll find out more about how this birthing process happens in this wonderful environment. Amy spent 14 years as a labor delivery nurse in the hospital. She's been in both of these environments, so she sees the differences. And why don't you tell us a little bit of the differences you see in those two environments?
Well, in the hospital, when a woman goes to give birth, she's probably going to be going into a room that she's never been in before, and she'll be taken care of by nurses that are wonderful, but that she's probably never met. And so here at Babymoon Inn, through our prenatal appointments, our families really get to know the midwives, the nurses, and then when they come to give birth, they're very comfortable here, and it just really leads to a very peaceful and safe birth environment.
Now, you have told us that you do things a little differently here, that in the hospital for the 14 years, when the baby came out, they clamped the umbilical cord very quickly. You don't do that here, and why not?
There's about 1/3 of the volume that belongs to the baby, the blood volume, that is still in the placenta, and we let the baby get that before the cord is clamped. And so we see babies that are just very robust, very alert, their color is better, and that was very intriguing to me when I first started working here.
And that's amazing to know. I have never heard that before, and I wish I could have had that with my 2 children. Now, I also know one of my experiences in the hospital birth was breastfeeding. I didn't get a lot of help, and I had a little bit of trouble once I got home with my son for both of us to bond and get used to that. You don't do that here. You make sure that that connection and that breastfeeding is happening before they leave.
Yes, definitely. Even though the stay here is usually only 4 to 6 hours, which is very different than in the hospital, we make sure that the mom is able to shower, that mom and dad both get a good meal before they go home, and we definitely make sure that the baby is breastfeeding well before we send mom, dad, and baby home. And then we also check in with mom and baby that first day, and then again the second day by phone. And then the third day we have our families come in for a postpartum visit. And one of the biggest parts of that visit is breastfeeding support and assessment. Again, I think just going back to, you know, when you let birth happen naturally and even into the whole postpartum period, it just tends to work really, really well most of the time. So we're just really proud to offer this option to the families in the Phoenix area. And you know, we do think that hospital births can be great and that they're there for the families that need them, but for families that want to have the least amount of interventions possible and want to have that natural birth, we believe that birth centers are a great option and a very safe option.
What do you think is the biggest deterrent why women don't do natural childbirth more frequently?
I think maybe they're afraid of the pain and not knowing if they'll be able to handle it. We don't get to see birth a lot in our society. It's not like it used to be. It is a very empowering experience. It's a very beautiful experience, and for women that get to give birth here and they're surrounded by people that believe in birth and that believe in them, I think that it's very comforting.
Well, Amy, thank you so much. We appreciate all your knowledge. And now we're going to be talking to Samantha Ray, our Healthy U family member that had our first Healthy U baby right here at the Babymoon Inn.
From the very first day I went to Babymoon Inn, it was just night and day between there and my OB office. I felt so welcome, not just another number. And it just, the energy of the people there, it was just amazing. They were so friendly and so welcoming and felt like they really cared. And I knew that I wanted to have a water birth, but we just weren't sure about how that was going to work or going into the birth, what to expect from a natural childbirth. I knew that we wanted to try something different, and so the water birth option really intrigued me. Even just from taking the classes, we learned so much at Babymoon versus at the OB office, just going through the birth journey and having to do various activities to prepare ourselves with putting our hands in ice and
definitely a lot more training.
Yeah, and it felt like we got so much more information, a lot more support. And then going into the birth itself, well, we were waiting for the water to break, for one thing, and it never broke. The baby was actually born in the cowl, and so the water didn't break until the second time I was pushing, and she came out on the third push. And so it was really cool experience to have her come out with that little cushion in a way. And so less traumatic for the baby.
The hospital and the natural birthing process were like night and day, for me at least. Whereas in the hospital there's a lot of confusion. Whereas when we were in the birthing center, everything was natural, and I just watched her body take care of itself.
If you're healthy, having an uncomplicated pregnancy, I was just amazed by just how my body just kind of took over and knew what it needed to do. I did get scared towards the end, wondering if I could actually make it through, but having John with me in the tub, I was feeling a lot more support.
I was right there by your ear whispering encouragement, and so I was very, very close compared to the other one and waiting for the baby to come out.
So this was probably one of the best decisions of our lives, I think, is bringing a baby into the world naturally.
What a beautiful testimonial from Sam. How do they find you, Julia?
You can find us on our website, which is babymoonin.com, or friend us on Facebook, or you're welcome to call the office anytime at 602-314-7755.
And if you need more information or want to learn more about Babymoon Inn, please visit us at HUTV.com.